of God is odd, claiming he has it. The power to knock down the great temple as if by magic. Black magic, that is, by Beelzebub, he claims. He could then rebuild that same temple in 3 days? Blasphemer! Lawbreaker! He must have lost his head to claim to be heaven sent, and that your body is bread? If you ask him of home, he seems to think it's from above. And to get there, we must eat his flesh and drink of his blood?
He speaks blasphemy!
Claiming to be the son of God, performing demonic feats as a peasant trap, and a lord, prophesying to his Christ, show us one of your signs, if by the power of Satan you give sight to the blind. You're a fake, a trickster, and a messianic fraud. With simple words and charisma, you make simple men your pawns. Deceit, defiance, ooze from your every breath. Your crimes condemn you to nothing short of death.
What say you, Christ? Can you hear the witnesses calling for you to die? Defend yourself. Are you the King of the Jews? Convince me. I want to know your version of the truth. Well, speak.
You say that I am, but I'm not that kind of king. My kingdom doesn't consist of what you see. If it did, my followers would fight to save me.
No more! We've had enough! He's a blasphemer, liar, venomous trickster. Now it's time to get tough. We can't let this go. He must bear the full weight of his sin, and I'm ready to tear my robe. Seriously, what did you think? You would come in and steal the whole show, and we wouldn't kick up a stick? But you've just gone way too far. Let's see if you can cheat death, son of God, if that really is who you are.
I will not be responsible for this man's death. I hand him over to you to be judge and juror. I wash my hands of this man.
It was not the Roman way. This was mockery of God. How long must I put up with these barbarian fools taking justice into their own hands? They had him bound and put on a sham trial. But he was no criminal. He did no wrong. I watched his steps. He helped people. He healed them. Yet their laws accused him. What kind of law is this? If I were there, I would tremble at the thought of deity on trial. But they were thirsty for blood. The basis of the accusation, he claimed to be God. Not just a teacher or a king, but God. Have you ever considered that the divine would dwell with man? There are stories which foretell as much. If mortals did kill God, why then the very fabrics of the heaven and the earth would surely be shaken. And pity the man by whose hand God were killed.
The devastating physical pilgrimage that Jesus' body went through in his final hours on earth did not start at the cross, but indeed finished there. Luke, who was a physician, describes Jesus as praying so stake, he would repeatedly have his skin torn and stripped as a flagrum or short Roman whip with balls of lead and sheep bones is brought down with full force across his back.
My son, your sins are forgiven. Take up your mat and walk. Open your eyes. Be healed. Your faith has made you well. Don't be afraid. Just have faith. Wake up, Hillsong. And rise from the dead.
Allowing Jesus to slump only for a moment, they then mock this provincial Jew claiming to be a king by adorning him with a robe and scepter, only to complete the travesty with a crown. Fashioned out of a branch containing 6-inch thorns, the crown is then repeatedly driven into his skull, one of the most vascular areas of the body, causing copious bleeding. The large wooden patibulum with the cross is tied across his shoulders, and thus begins a slow, agonizing journey along the Via Dolorosa to Golgotha. Drives a large, square, wrought iron nail through Jesus' wrist, deep into the rough wood. The left foot is now pressed backward against the right foot. A nail is driven through the arch of each, leaving the knees moderately flexed. The victim is now crucified. The nails in the wrists are putting pressure on the median nerves. As he slowly sags down, with more weight on the nails in the wrists, excruciating pain shoots along the fingers and up the arms to explode in the brain. As he pushes himself upward to avoid this stretching torment, there is a searing agony of the nail tearing through the nerves between the metatarsal bones of the feet. Lack of blood to his muscles causes them to lock rigid in pain. Air can be drawn into the lungs, but cannot be exhaled. Hours of limitless pain, cycles of twisting, joint-rending cramps, intermittent partial asphyxiation. Then another agony begins. A terrible, crushing pain once again presses his torn feet against the nail, straightens his legs, takes a deep breath, and utters his last cry. Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit. To hasten death, the legs were broken. This prevented pushing up to inhale. Suffocation was the usual cause of death. They didn't break